I've learned in show business, the greater the talent, the smaller the introduction. And if that be true, then Judy Garland needs no introduction at all, except to say that she's pure magic. So, abracadabra, Judy Garland.
Judy Garland was born Frances Ethel Gumm on June 10, 1922, to parents Ethel and Frank Gumm in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. She was the youngest of three sisters, endeared as Baby Frances by her family. Former showbiz people, Frank and Ethel, were determined to see their children follow in their footsteps, as the girls were introduced to performing young. Judy would first take to the stage at age 2, singing along with her sisters to the tune Jingle Bells. The girls and their mother would put on shows between films at their father's movie theater. In 1926, the family moved from Minnesota to Lancaster, California. There was speculation the relocation was due to Frank Gumm's interest in men, which was illegal at the time. The move came at a time when California promised opportunities to up-and-coming performers, and the Gumms were eager to get their daughters in the Meglin Dance School, where they would appear in their first film roles. The girls, eventually calling themselves the Garland sisters, performed together in a couple of small film numbers and on stage until 1935. It was at age 13 that Judy Garland was signed into a 7-year contract with MGM Studio. Immediately, despite her incredible talent, the studio didn't know how to present her. As was common in Hollywood during this time, the studio system was in full swing and regularly molded young actors into whatever they believed would make them the most popular with the public, shaping and reshaping into what was most profitable. Seeing her peers were the likes of Elizabeth Taylor, Ava Gardner, and Lana Turner, the studio punished Judy for being the odd one out, causing irreparable damage to her self-esteem and self-image by calling her names like Ugly Duckling and Little Hunchback. MGM scrutinized her appearance to the point that they strictly enforced drastic diets on her in spite of her being at a healthy weight. Ultimately, they tried to package her as the girl next door, often toiling with unrequited love, regularly co-starring in romantic musical comedies with fellow child actor Mickey Rooney. It was around this time that Judy would be given prescription drugs to help control her diet, taking amphetamines to power her through the day and barbiturates to get her to sleep at night. Unfortunately, this was another common practice of Hollywood at the time. It would begin a lifelong addiction that would contribute to her death. The abuse she endured during her time at MGM is often speculated about, as, of course, the inner machinations of the studio system were always obscured with secrecy, especially their more unsavory operations. Whatever happened to Judy on her rise to stardom obviously took an incredible toll on her, causing a lifetime of mental health struggles. Further abuses are horribly possible, and over the years Judy would speak about her troubles publicly. In 1938, Judy began working on one of the most important films of her career. The Wizard of Oz was a massive hit on its release in 1939, even though the studio didn't originally make its budget back until a re-release in 1940. However, its journey to completion was a difficult one. Judy wasn't even MGM studio chief Louis B. Mayer's first choice for Dorothy Gale. Originally wanting Shirley Temple, he sought Diana Durbin as a second pick after Fox wouldn't lend Shirley out. Finally settling on Judy, casting for the other roles proved equally uncertain as actors, writers, and directors were rotated through. Long workdays saw actors in heavy, even dangerous costuming and makeup under the hot bright lights required to shoot in Technicolor. Accidents with props and toxic makeup caused injury to performers, contributing to high tension between cast and crew. Many deadly materials were used during filming, such as copper, lead, and asbestos. It has also been claimed that Judy was consistently harassed and mistreated on the set by other cast members, with one of the directors going so far as to slap her in the face for giggling. The film did have its fair share of innovative moments, introducing new special effects and filming techniques. The film earned multiple awards, including an Academy Award for Best Original Score and Best Original Song. Judy was honored with the Juvenile Academy Award for her performance as Dorothy, a rare accolade given to outstanding actors under age 18, a practice that was discontinued after 1960. The Wizard of Oz stands as an important film in the history of the medium, cherished in popular culture as a story of grand adventure, dreams, love, and acceptance, with a heartwarming soundtrack just as whimsical and beloved. It was Judy's big break, and the following years would see her continuing that magic in several notable, well-remembered movies, such as For Me and My Gal with Gene Kelly, Easter Parade with Fred Astaire, Meet Me in St. Louis, which was directed by her second husband and father of her first child, Vincent Minnelli, and many, many more. Her career would see her in both comedic and dramatic roles, pushing the limit of song and dance in many musicals with equally esteemed performers. Her repertoire includes at least 35 films, sold-out concerts around the world as she would begin touring, and several appearances on popular variety TV shows, all this in the face of the fear that her career was sputtering out. She made her comeback in 1954 with the critically acclaimed movie A Star is Born, produced by her and third husband Sidney Luff's film company. She and the industry assumed the Academy Award was hers. The night of the awards, cameras were stationed in her hospital room after giving birth to her son Joseph, anticipating the news. Unfortunately, she didn't win that night. However, she did win a Golden Globe for her role as Esther Blodgett, an unknown singer catapulted to fame when former star Norman Maine sees her talent and potential and falls in love with her. It's a beautiful, moving story that takes a look at addiction and the rough edges of the human experience and ends with a bittersweet triumph that leaves no dry eye in the house. Such a meaningful story it was that it has been remade 2 other times, once in 1976 with Barbra Streisand, and another in 2018 with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. The end of her film career came in 1963 with the musical drama I Could Go On Singing, which starred her with Dirk Bogarde in a story of love, loss, and carrying on despite it all. In the words of film critic Judith Crist, certainly the role of a top-ranked singer beset by the loneliness and emotional hungers of her personal life is not an alien one to her. Parts of the movie were rewritten for Judy, and she furthered her reputation as being a force of nature when it comes to performance, earning praise and acclaim for her final film work. Health on the decline, Judy did not stay idle, continuing to work on stage in cities across the world such as Las Vegas, London, and she recorded a career-defining show at Carnegie Hall that won her 4 Grammys, including Best Album of the Year. She also hosted her own variety show called, unsurprisingly, The Judy Garland Show, that lasted 26 episodes before being canceled, even though the show garnered 4 Emmy nominations. For all her struggles, she saw many accomplishments and moments of joy. She not only triumphed in the showbiz world with her unsurpassing skills as singer, dancer, and actor, but she was a kind-hearted humanitarian who loved her children fiercely. She supported politicians like Franklin D. Roosevelt, Henry A. Wallace, and she was a friend of the Kennedys. She was a part of the Committee for the First Amendment, a group of fellow celebrities that joined together in defense of civil liberties against the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1947. She served as the date of the first black U.S. general officer, Benjamin Davis, to an event honoring him in 1944. She participated in several campaigns during the height of the Civil Rights Movement, including the Great March on Washington in 1963. She and her daughter, Liza Minnelli, protested the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing that took the lives of 4 black children. She also grew to become a cherished icon of the LGBTQ+ community in 1965, responding to questions about gay men attending her concerts with, "I don't care, I sing to people," and would follow up in 1967 defending them by saying, "I'll be damned if my audience is mistreated." It is speculated by many that her death in June of 1969 contributed to intense emotions in the community the day of the Stonewall riots in New York City. Truly, the suffering she endured in life made her a person who could see and empathize with others who suffered, as well as endear her to many who have been hurt deeply and keep getting back up. Judy Garland remains an inspiring reminder that strength can grow through enduring hardships. Author Jacqueline Suzanne once said of Judy, "With an amazing inner strength that only comes of a certain genius, she comes back bigger than ever." Nothing truer could be said of Judy Garland. She bared her heart on stage, put everything she had into giving as flawless a performance as possible, continued to keep fighting for herself and what she believed was right, even when everything seemed to be hopeless. Her daughter Lorna Luft once said that Judy didn't want to be remembered as a tragedy. I tried to center focus on Judy's accomplishments, but it is also her struggles that make her so encouraging and uplifting. Her life story reminds us that we can still do incredible things in spite of how hard things might become.